Gotta check this out. It is firm. Hey everybody, welcome to Adam Does Hard Things. Today we're talking about Polar Roll, the EX30 in 2025. EX is the adventure version of some of the mass start races put on by 906 Adventure Team up in Marquette, Ishpeming, etc. in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. The EX was my introduction to everything 906 back in 2021. I did the EX with my buddy Jeff, and from there I've gone on to do all the races. Been quite an adventure. So this year there was more of us at my workplace who wanted to go up, and we're trying to balance things with who has to work and who can have off. So I decided to go with my buddy Andrew, and we went up to tackle the EX as opposed to doing the mass start. So mass start, think big race, lots of people, everyone starts at the same time. EX, you go with yourself and whoever you want to ride with, and you go do it whenever you want. So you can kind of wait until conditions are ideal, or you pick a date and then you do it no matter what the conditions are. So we were lucky enough to have some pretty good conditions. Not perfect, but yeah, it was a good time. Not the most difficult of the 906 events for me, but it was fun nonetheless. The start was at Lakeinen Land, which I have never been to before. It was actually pretty cool. It was a sculpture garden. Definitely going to go back when it's warmer and check it out, hopefully with my kids. It was pretty cool. Right off the bat, we had a little bit of navigation. Made it a couple miles on a road that was really nice and smooth, and then we missed a little jog to the left and realized after about a mile that we were supposed to be on this ORV trail or snowmobile trail, so we had to backtrack, get on the snowmobile trail, which was not as nice as the firm road that we had been on, and it was pretty slow going, resulted in some middle fingers to the road, but it wasn't too bad, just very slow. After that, we got out to Deerton, took our selfies at the school playground, and then I made our way back on the trail. And the next section was really, really soft, just starting to warm up. It was above 30, so the trail was getting really soft, and it was very churned up by the snowmobiles. So we were going 5 miles an hour, finally starting to get our tire pressure dialed. If you're not familiar with fat bike riding, it is very important to get your tire pressure nailed, because when the snow is very firm and packed down, you need some higher pressures in like the 8 to 10 range. And when it's really soft, you might be running as little as 3 psi. And we definitely were closer to that 3 to 4 range with how soft it was. So the first really cool checkpoint was Laughing Whitefish Falls. Got a really cool view. Pop the picture in right here so you can see it. Much higher than I thought it would be. Kind of looking over the edge, it was pretty substantial. I climbed down the staircase quite a ways, which was kind of fun. It was all packed with snow. Just a neat part of Michigan that you might not see. Definitely wouldn't see in the mass start version of the race. So after that, made our way, I believe, Peter White Road, and that was it was a slog. It was churned up. You had to work really hard to find where the groom was previously, and it was a constant challenge of maybe 3 minutes of riding on firm snow, and then you hit the fluff and you're putting your foot down and just trying to stay moving forward, which led us into the Segan Swamp checkpoint, which, if you're not familiar with any of the EX versions of the 906 races, you have to take checkpoint selfies. So sometimes there's GPS coordinates, sometimes there's just a picture that you have to find, and Segan Swamp was a bit of a mystery. I researched several other people who had done the 30 already and found their photos, kind of compared it to the race course, and had a decent idea of where it could be, but we never really got to where we thought the description was. There was supposed to be a camp and some blue North Country Trail signs, and we never really found it. So it took a bunch of selfies. I ended up contacting Todd, the race director, and asking him, like, can we get a little help on this one? I don't know. So we covered our bases. He said it was fine, that we probably were close enough, and that they wouldn't disqualify for us for that because of how many people struggled finding it. But I did my homework, so no excuses there. Yeah, after a bit, we wound up getting back on the road for a good chunk. I don't know, it was like 9 miles or something that we were on pavement, which was kind of nice. Andrew had some ankle trouble that was slowing him down, but he pushed through and got her done. So made our way to the north portion of the trail. Little bit of navigational snafus, I would say. We got on the wrong trail for a little bit and then had to go back to the start of it, and then found our way on this just wonderful, I don't know, I would say, doesn't convert on camera, 3 feet wide maybe, like right about the width of a groomer, just nicely packed. And then we were flying. Got a checkpoint over at Lake Levasseur, which was fun because you had to completely get off course to get a picture of this. Ended up hiking through a bunch of snow. That was fun. And then with waning daylight, we got onto the last section, and I passed a trail heading to the right with a couple Crusher signs on a tree. Crusher being another one of the 906 races. The EX is one that I've finished a couple versions and not finished some of the others. And I looked at the signs and I thought, there's no way we're going that way because it's nicely groomed and it looks too fun. I'm sure we're just going to be stuck on this ORV trail in this mushed up mess. So I kept going. And after a few minutes, I realized I was either way ahead of Andrew or he had stopped. Wasn't really sure. So I started to get a little worried that maybe he had crashed or hurt himself or something. Something was going on. So I texted him, didn't hear anything, ended up calling him, and found out I was pretty sure he had actually taken that way. And then I realized once I looked at my map a little bit closer that I was supposed to take that way. So I went back, found the Crusher Trail, met up with him, and then we rode the last, I don't know, half a mile to the finish. So yeah, really good course this year. Very happy with it. Wasn't too difficult. Didn't have any serious obstacles. It was just slow. We were out there for a while. I think we were out around 8 hours, but it was only like 30 to 34 degrees, so it wasn't too cold or anything. Yeah, just a good old time on fat bikes. One that I highly recommend if you get a chance to go up and do it. I guess what I want to highlight with a race like this, it seems kind of uneventful as I talk about it compared to some of the races I've done. And I think the reason that is because of preparation. One of the things I've learned doing adventure style races is the more prep you do, the less things go wrong. And I don't necessarily mean that things won't go wrong. You're just able to deal with it and to roll with the punches, and it doesn't phase you. So putting lists together, studying the checkpoints, studying other people who've done it, everything, planning out what bags to use and what to put in each bag so that on race morning you're not fumbling around trying to figure out where your stuff's going to go. These little things that you do leading up to events makes such a difference in how the day goes. I get a little bit obsessive with my notes, but it has helped me so much. And then obviously, if you've seen my Crusher video from last year, one of the things that I learned was to always have a physical list of all the checkpoints and their mile markers. And that proved invaluable again when we had some minor miscalculations and some route, I wouldn't say debacles, but, you know, places that we got off course a little bit and added a bonus mile or two. And I had to look at my physical list and calculate how many miles we were off course, and that added to our distance. So like, oh, this checkpoint was supposed to be at 16 miles, but we were off course for 1.5 miles. So now we're at 17.5 miles, that sort of thing. Just having everything done ahead of time lets you focus on the ride itself and enjoy it, and know that if anything goes wrong, you've got backup plans and you're ready to handle it. It kind of comes down to planning, and life is like that. The more that we plan and prepare for stuff, the more we're ready when stuff goes wrong, because let's face it, something's always going to go wrong. It just depends on what your perspective is and how you handle it, right? Because life's going to happen no matter what. The only thing we can change is how we react to it. So that's part of what I love about doing these events, is it just teaches you lessons about how to live. It's not just about the bike, it's not just about these adventures, but these lessons translate into real life. And just keep growing as a person the more I do these events. So yeah, I'd highly recommend doing the Polar Roll. If you get a chance to do the EX version, it's definitely going to put you outside your comfort zone. But as I have not made it an official goal, but I'm thinking I would like to try and do the Ultra, which is the 100 or 150-ish mile version of the Polar Roll. So yeah, that's something I may tackle in the next few years, which, yeah, it's a whole other daunting task, but we'll see. You never know what's going to happen next. So yeah, thanks for tuning into this one. Not as eventful as some of them, but hey, it's a good lesson in preparation, and I hope to be bringing you more videos very soon. Thanks. Get out there and do hard things.